Yep.
So it's easier if we start with a fresh bag of clay. We don't have to, but I am cutting off a slice of this. Try not to make it too crazy thick. If it is really thick, I'm going to have to thin it just a little bit. And fresh clay is very plastic and squishy and sticks to things pretty easily. But then we're going to come over to our canvas, and if you have a really long piece, something that's 13 or 14 inches, you might have to connect two pieces together like this. I'm going to see how long mine needs to be to start with. I'm flattening this out a little bit because if it's too thick and you try to roll it through the slab machine, it can break the slab machine or it can roll up and be squishy. So flatten this out a little bit. Then we need this to go into the seam. So see how I have this lined up to where these are roughly the same position going across. Try to make sure it's flat underneath. Fold this piece over. What we're looking for is making sure that it doesn't squish out of the back of this. So can you guys see how I folded this in half? And it should be pressed up against this fold here. Then look at where I have this set here. The black line or a little bit thicker. So you're trying to make sure that the first time you press this through the slab roller, that you're not taking something that's like 2 inches thick and you're trying to all of a sudden make it be a ½ inch. We need it to gradually go through, or it will wrap around this and make it really hard on yourself. Then it's easier to have two people do this. So one person, here, Abby, you can do the rolling part. One person is going to help guide it. Yep, you roll it the direction you're going. So one person presses it through just a little bit, and the other person tries to have a smooth movement. I'm sorry about your wrist. Then I need, how about you, I need to spin that around. And now look at how I'm going to move this down to the 1 inch. So very gently swirl this around. So then spin it around to where that folded part is going to go back into this. You can flip it or you can just spin it around. And then you're pressing that into this. And then keep pressing it a little bit until it catches. And then a smooth movement with this. If you stop it while it's in the middle, then it might put a crease in your slab. Then let's spin this around and check it. So that paper template that we created, you're trying to have enough space rolled out that you'll be able to cut this to size. We're not going to cut it to size while it's still really squishy, but this piece wouldn't be large enough. If I wanted to use this one, I could take, let's say, cut this excess off here and cut this excess off on this side and over here. And I can patch this together too. I can take little pieces of clay and I can roll it out. Man, this clay is sticky. And merge it and connect it over here. Take this. Try to merge it and connect it on this side. And I may still need to add a little bit more over here. Now I think this one's going to get me enough. It's just enough that I can cut that down later. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to wrap this in the newspaper. So sometimes the canvas gets really sticky and wet because of this clay, because it's absorbing all the moisture. So if it does, we may have to get a second canvas. But carefully peel that up. Put it on top of your newspaper. Fold this up. And then I will put this in my plastic bag in the classroom so it doesn't dry out, but I don't need it for now, so it's put inside. Now I'm trying to see if I can get this other piece to be big enough for this. I'm going to make sure it's as smooth as possible. I'm going to keep it at 1 because I already have most of it rolled out to 1 anyway. Can you roll that across? And then Ivan, can you flip that? So spin it around and then I want you to flip it over. Full canvas with it. There you go. And then make sure it's flat. Then we're going to roll it back this way. Open this up. Now these are small imperfections that I can smooth out either with my finger or the wooden potter's rib. But this is going to be almost enough. So a couple things we could do here. Either we can trim it again and patch that and just leave it, or whenever I go to cut this to size, I could actually, can you see it from up above? Then I can cut this just a little bit smaller too, if you don't want to keep going back and forth trying to make yours large enough.